everybody, and welcome to the Irish Zone. This is the Noel Zone speaking live from Dublin. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. So it is the night before the election, the local and European election. So I wanted to come on tonight, show you a few videos and stuff like that, and actually find out who you guys are going to vote for in the local and European elections. So if you want to leave some comments, please come in onto YouTube. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X at the moment. So we're on the three platforms at the moment. So if you're watching on X or you're watching on Facebook, come on in onto YouTube there and come into the comment section there and let me know who you guys are thinking of voting for in your area. Obviously, we're going to cover some topics here today. Obviously, I want to briefly speak about Newtownmountkennedy because there's still stuff going on down there, and it's kind of, there was a recent protest down there, as you guys know, but we want to keep everybody informed of what's going on down there. Thornton Hall, there also seems to be a lot of movement in Thornton Hall, and that is getting ready. And listen, as I told people a few before me ban, Thornton Hall would become the biggest migrant camp in this country. And it seems like locals down there, they've started to barricade the place and all of that. And Gardaí have been throwing up the footage anyway. Anybody that's been watching this channel will know that I've been throwing that footage up, so you are well aware of what's been going down in Thornton Hall, but it's not looking good there at all. Listen, just want to make one thing absolutely clear. The local and European elections are not going to have much of an impact on what the government is doing. Now, they might lose seats tomorrow, and they might be defeated very heavily tomorrow, but they are still the government, and they're still in government until next year. Now, whether they can hold out to next year or not will be a different story altogether. I honestly believe that they won't, but you never know. But the candidates have been out canvassing, the main party candidates, Sinn Féin also. And again, as I've shown you in the videos, Sinn Féin have been run out of every area or approached in every area that they've been canvassing in. And it's, of course, the usual shtick from the left is it's abusive and all of this. But what the left don't realise is there is a lot of anger out there, and these politicians are not listening. Again, Mary Lou McDonald sunk Sinn Féin there a couple of days ago. She's been doing some interviews, and well, let's just say she has basically laid down the groundwork of where she lies. And this woman is not a Republican. Her party is not a Republican party. She is a fraud, basically. And this woman should not be trusted, or any of our party members be trusted, for that matter. They are traitors, but I don't think the anger should just solely be directed at Sinn Féin. Because again, a worrying thing that I have seen is that there have been, while the major parties, aren't doing too well with the public, they have I think Fine Gael gained by 1 or +2 it was, or something like that. So I'm mind boggled why the main parties are gaining, but nationalists, thankfully, are gaining loads. And it's looking good for nationalists, I've got to say. And it'll be very interesting tomorrow what happens when everybody starts to vote. Who will you vote for, asks Sean. Well, I'm in a difficult position, and this is why I'm on tonight, actually. because it's something I want to actually talk about. Now, I did speak about this during my last live stream before we got banned, if you remember, folks. And I did say what was the nationalist plan, because there doesn't seem to be any real plan in place. And what I mean by that is the fact that nationalists haven't run enough candidates all over the country, right? The parties haven't, and there's not enough independent nationalists running either. And the ones that are going independent, right, especially in the area that I'm in, all push the far right narrative and are all for open borders, right? So I've no nationalist candidate or party in my area, right? And I've been speaking to another few people. I've been speaking to other people behind the scenes in chats, and they've also said the same. They don't have any nationalist candidates running in their area or any nationalist party running in their area. So I'm left with Sinn Féin, Social Democrats, People Before Profit, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and as I said, a couple of independents, but they're pushing this far right narrative and they're pushing this other nonsense as well. So I don't have an option. But does that mean I'm not going to vote? No, I'm absolutely going to vote. Because see, here's the thing, folks, you need to vote. And some people are saying that you should just tick the two people that you're supporting. No, tick the whole ballot box. Tick the ballot. Right? Put your preference 1, your preference 2 first, and then put the rest of them, especially the main parties, lower down the fucking list. Right? But that's the situation I'm in. If I don't go and vote, right, because I've no, as I said, there's no candidate for me to actually vote for, right? But if I don't vote, right, that's a vote, you know what I mean? They're getting what they want. Vote me vote won't count for that, will it? I don't know what they do with the votes. I don't know if I don't vote what happens. But I've got to get out there and vote. And this is the situation that I'm in, right? But I'm not the only one that's in that situation. There's a lot of people in the Dublin area that don't have a nationalist running or a nationalist party running. So I don't know what the nationalist plan actually was. And I said this a few weeks back. You know me, I don't hold back, folks. I support the nationalist movement 100%. I've been on the streets. I've been at the protests, right? Okay, I support everything 100%. But I don't know what their plan was, because there doesn't seem to be much planning going on here. Everybody decided to make up their own nationalist party instead of all coming together and then actually trying to, you know, set a national campaign to encourage people to run so they'd have enough candidates to run in every local constituency. But they don't. So, you know, while the government may lose seats tomorrow and some of these other parties may lose seats and nationalists will gain seats, they're not going to gain enough to actually get rid of this government, right? Because when the general election comes along, yeah, okay, nationalists then get a few more people in. Great, get their foot in the door. But that's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. It's going to take 2 or 3 general elections before nationalists are in a position to actually make a difference. And that's the thing. To me, that's too long, right? That's too long. By the time that comes around, this country and its dynamic will be completely changed. So I don't know what the plan here was. And as I said, I'm not here to make friends with everybody here. I'm just going to tell you what's on my mind. And I don't see the logic of all of this because, you know, they should have ran enough candidates. Or at least what should have happened was, instead of everybody forming their own little fucking party, people should have came together. But there's too much ego in the way. And that is ultimately what is going to actually, which is going to actually affect the nationalist movement's ego. You know, and, you know, we got to get serious here. We've only got a small window of opportunity to actually change the face of Irish politics. I do believe we can get this done in 2 general elections. I actually think nationalists can position themselves. By the time the second general election comes along, they'll be in a better position. But they have to. There has to be more better planning to this. There has to be more organisation, and you know what? We're the people as well. We should be encouraging these nationalists all to work together. Do you know what I mean? We should be telling them that that's what we want. We want you all to work together. You know, you form one fucking party, right? Under a nationalist, exactly, a national unity. That's it. That's it. Absolutely, 100%. Couldn't have put it better myself. But that's what, under one fucking banner, right? That's what needs to happen in reality. But you see, maybe this is their plan, get their feet in the door, and maybe some of them will talk about this. And I think it is a conversation that should be definitely had with all of these people. You should definitely have that conversation. At the end of the day, you know, you want to get into the best position to do real damage to this government and to change the face of Irish politics. You're not going to change the face of Irish politics by continuing to do the way you are doing things now. I don't know if you have a strategist out there. I'm not saying I'm a strategist or anything like that, but I could tell you how to go about this. And I think there's plenty of other people out there that would have ideas of how you go about this. And I think a lot of people would agree with me. Under one nationalist banner, under one banner, you all come together. We're the Irish citizens. We think it'd work better if you all did come together. And then that way, then have a vote who you want as is our leader and he's our deputy leader. And none of this nonsense and messing that goes on with other parties. Just get it fucking done. And get out there and represent the people who you say you want to represent. The only way you're going to get Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, you Social Democrats, people before profit, and all of these gobshites, to get these all on the back foot or to get some of them out completely, right? That's what needs to happen. But nobody listens to me, you know. The bottom line is, you know, do you know what? Do you remember even before me ban, I said there was going to be another incident? Do you remember I was putting up the videos and I said to you, tensions are rising and it's going to be another incident and the public order unit are going to do something again. And what happened? The day of the fucking ban, no, the day before, right, the incident happened, I get banned. And what happens then? The incident happened. And the public order unit went in and brutalised the Irish people, Dublin people, protecting their community. Right? I could see these things coming. I've been saying it because you know why. And for anybody out there that gets suspicious, because you know some Irish nationalists get very suspicious. You know, if you're ahead of the curve, you know they think that you're up to something, or you know you're a government plant and all of this other. Rubbish. No. See, what I've done is what none of you have done is I've actually studied everything that's happened in every other European country, and America is being ahead of everybody. So if you look at what's happened in America, you look at what's happened in New Zealand, Australia, Spain, Italy, France. It's all the same tactic that they use around the world. They don't change the playbook. The left never change the playbook, right? Because they're fucking idiots, right? They never change. They don't know how to do that now. So they use the same tactics that they used in America. They've used in France. They've used in Spain. And they're using here in Ireland. So that's how I know what they're doing and what they're up to. I even showed you the video, right, a couple of weeks before the ban of the public order unit training and using phrases, whose streets, our streets. And someone suggested that, well, they were training them so anybody that uses that word is identified as far right and they can single you out. But I said, no, that's not what it was for. The reason why they're training the public order unit and the people that they were using to throw the bricks at them, whose streets, our streets, is because the public order unit are going to start infiltrating protests, right? And that's what's going to happen. They're going to cause trouble, right? Because they want to try and incite violence, right? And then some Irish people, unfortunately, will fall for that. And then what will happen is you'll have a full-blown riot on your hands, started by the public order unit. The people need to wake up what's going on, right? It's the same with this fella. I didn't want to mention him, but I'm going to mention him briefly. But there's this fella, you probably know him. He's been trending all over the place. And I keep telling people they need to stop sharing these videos. And I'll explain why he's sharing these videos, right, in a minute. But this fella, he calls himself Cannon or Dre Cannon, whatever, right? He's a hip hop artist or a rapper or whatever he calls himself. I mean, I've listened to his stuff. He's not actually that good. But anyway, besides him having literally no talent, right? He's been throwing up videos saying things like migrants should arm themselves. You remember you seen that video. Now he's been coming out with other videos, right? And he's been making all sorts of accusations and all sorts of veiled threats, right? And the Gardaí turned up at his door because his last threat was he showed up a gun in a box, right? And the Gardaí showed up and he started banging on about having a warrant. Listen, I just want to say something to you all out straight, and you all need to listen to me because this is the same tactic they used in all these other countries, right? He is a plant. Simple as that. Right? He's either a plant or he's one of these people that is deliberately trying to antagonize an Irish person out there to attack him so he can play the victim. So to everybody out there that's sharing his videos all the time and making them go viral, right? We go and look at his account. When you don't share his videos and he throws up posts, he hardly get any interaction. As soon as you Irish people give him 1 ounce of breath or share his videos, he goes viral. He is a government plant, or he is hoping to antagonize an Irish person to beat him up so he can cause a race riot in this country. You all need to fucking cop onto yourselves and wake up to what these people do and their type of tactics that they do. You've got race baiters in every fucking country. Right? Look at the UK, the race baiters on TV. Look in America, the race baiters on TV. It's the same here, right? This fella actually has had interactions with TDs in this country as well, right? This is the same fella that was complaining because the place that he was living in, the homeless shelter, said that he wasn't allowed a microwave. Now, I lived in a homeless place because I was homeless, right? I was in the system. And I can tell you, it's absolutely true. You're not allowed a microwave or an oven or a toaster. They provide all of those things for you, right? But he didn't want to use what was provided, right? So he's got this self-entitlement about him. So people should stop ignoring, should stop highlighting this fella now after I say this today. Have nothing to do with him. Right? He's looking to get attention. He's looking for some Irish person out there to cross the line. And if there is an Irish person out there that does cross the line, does something to him, like, you're a fucking idiot. You play into his hands and that's exactly what he wants. So ignore him. Ignore him. Done. I'm done talking to him now. Done. Right? And then we've got the Derry Mayor. Yeah. The Derry Mayor, it's actually funny she is. So she came over to Ireland for whatever reason, but one of our family members is actually in government over in the country where she actually came from, and now she's mayor of fucking Derry. Like, I thought the whole point, what the government was telling us, by the way, is that all of these people coming to this country needed their help. Well, she clearly doesn't need their fucking help. Right, our brother's in politics in the country where she's from, so clearly that family doesn't need our fucking help. So what's she fucking doing over here? Right? And then this is the same Derry Mayor, right? Let me give you a laugh, right? See, what the Derry Mayor doesn't understand is that in Ireland, when you're a little kid, doesn't matter how old you are, but when we were growing up, especially, we were taught our Irish history. Right? We were taught our Irish history, right? And then a lot of Irish people, they go and do their own research. I remember going to the library as a kid and picking up all the books about Irish Revolution and all of that. And that's how I learned more from books, from authors and all of that, and from stories of the day, right? The Derry Mayor has come out with the whopper that they come out with in every country, by the way. They did this in America as well, right? And you see a lot of posts on social media. So apparently, we as white people erased the black history in Ireland, and that they're the true heroes of our story. Basically, we erased them from our history, folks. That's what she said. That we erased black culture from Irish history. No, we didn't, because basically, there was hardly any black people in Ireland, because we're predominantly a white country. I know that might actually offend you and all that, but that's the reality of the situation. We actually have very close links to the Spanish, believe it or not. The Irish and the Spanish are actually connected to people, so they actually read into the history there. There's a very interesting history between Spain and Ireland. But I can tell you now, for one thing, there is no erasure of black history in Ireland. I'm sorry, but look, I'm not saying that black people haven't achieved anything, right? But the thing about it is, you bang on so much about so-called achievements that you did, and you present absolutely zero evidence to back you up. We're going to call you out. That's the bottom line. At the end of the day, in Ireland, if any black people fought during their revolution, they would be acknowledged, because we've had people from England, Scotland, America fight in our revolutions, and we've never forgotten them. So don't be giving me this crap that you were erased from our history, because you weren't erased from our history, because you weren't part of our history. Okay? So, you want to get over yourselves. The way do you know what? This is what BLM did, right? It made black people think that they were superior to the rest of us. And now they go around with that attitude. But they get humbled very quickly. Because the bottom line is, if you were part of our history, you would be acknowledged. But the bottom line is, you aren't, so you don't get acknowledged. And you aren't going to take credit for people that died and gave their life and their blood for this country, because that is absolutely disrespectful. Right? But that's what you do. You don't care. You are disrespectful. You come here, you are given an opportunity here, and then you cry and you nag about it. You aren't happy. Oh, the Irish people are racists. Well, not racists. We're just saying we have enough of you fuckers coming over here now, and we want to close the borders and figure out who's here and who we need to get rid of. Right? Because before all of this, be under no illusion, Irish people know that there's foreign nationals living in their country. Right? But most of those foreign nationals that have come to this country before all of this madness worked and paid taxes. Right? They made their way in Irish society. They adapted to Irish society and our ways. Because if you come to our country as a guest, we don't change our ways for you guys because you are offended. Right? That's not how this shit works. Right? If you don't like being here because we're a Catholic country, because I see some of you is giving out about our religion, well, then I suggest you go to a non-Catholic country then and fuck off. I mean, it's not that hard. Do you know what I mean? Okay? And then you're seeing it, right? I put up a video earlier on, the usual, the Muslims outside the GPO. But that's deliberate again. That's deliberate. They know that the GPO is sacred. They know that what happened outside the GPO. So this is what they do. When these people come to our country, right, they have to make a point. They have to take a stand. So they go to the GPO, right? You see the other fella, he's been praying in Crow Park. Again, another sacred fucking venue, another sacred part of our history. But they know they do this exactly. They do it to royals. Exactly everything that they do. Well done, Fiona. I'm glad there are some people out there, and I know most of you guys that, well, all of you guys that support me are fucking on the same gravy train as I am and can see this. But unfortunately, people, there are fellow Irish citizens out there that buy all of this bullshit. That's the sad thing. But this is what they do. But this is what they do, right? They go deliberately to the. Could you imagine as a Catholic person if you went to one of their sacred places, right, and you start praying, right? You bless yourself and you start saying the rosary, say, right? I say, you know, Hail Mary or Our Father. What do you think would happen you? What do you think would happen you? I tell you fucking something, right? You wouldn't be allowed to it. You wouldn't be allowed to. And freedom of religion is part of our constitution. I don't give a shit what's part of our constitution. Right? I don't give a shit if freedom of religion is part of our constitution. And when they say freedom of religion, this country was predominantly Catholic. So when they were talking about that, they were talking about Catholicism. They weren't talking about Islam. They weren't talking about any, you know what I mean? They weren't talking about Islam. And if people in this world think Islam is good, you just have to see what Islam has done to the world. Okay? Nobody wants that here in this country. And I don't care if you're offended by it. Nobody wants that here in this country, right? Okay? The bottom line is this, right? And this is how I put it a while back. And I think it's fair to say. There is nothing wrong with people not being happy who comes into their communities or the society. The bottom line is this, right? Is that there are some people out there, their beliefs, their morals, that are not in line with Irish people or Irish culture or our way, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean we have to take them in and tolerate that outside their front doors, right? So the bottom line is this. I don't really give a crap where you've come from, right? Bottom line is you come here and you're undocumented, you've committed a crime, you're out. Simple as that. Anybody that comes here should be only coming here to work. But again, I have a solution to all of that. You know, we wouldn't need the level of migration anyway if the government or basically the country looked after its youth instead of letting them fly to Australia and New Zealand to get a job and then replace them then with migrant workers who probably wouldn't be as skilled as our doctors and nurses that leave our country. Listen, boxer all the week. I don't really care where you stand on it. I'm just giving my opinion, right? The bottom line is, if you're okay with what's happening to Ireland today, again, that's your opinion and you're entitled to have it. I don't agree, right? I don't agree. Okay. Unfortunately, the bottom line is this: is that I can already see the negative impact that this is having in this country, and it's just going to continue to get worse. There is no, I'm being honest with you, there is no place for people who do not share our beliefs or our morals in this country. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Look at Hungary. Hungary is a country that has decided that it doesn't want to follow everybody else. And look how peaceful that country is. Look how happy the people are over there. Are they having problems? Do we hear about Hungary in the news? Terrorist attacks or people going around stabbing people? Do we hear that happening in Hungary? No, we don't. Sure, we don't. So, you know, that's the bottom line. You know, Poland is the same. Russia is the same. Right? Now, obviously, you know, people say, well, Russia, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, but I'm talking about its people. I'm talking about they're able to walk the streets. Forget about what the government's doing to them, because we know, bottom line is, anyway, I'll say it. I like Russia, to be quite honest with you. I think all the bullshit that goes their way, most of it is bullshit. You know, I think Putin is actually trying to help the world, believe it or not, and he is exposing a lot of these elites, and people should be really listening to him. And that Ukrainian war thing is a load of bollocks. I mean, you've got Zelensky in there. He's officially a dictator now, because the elections were supposed to happen, but he put them on hold. So now he's a dictator, you know. And the bottom line is that actually the country is full of neo-Nazis, and that's actually who's running the country. It's not actually Zelensky that's running the country. But, you know, you all buy into that. But I suppose, you know, he's probably all complaining now because Zelensky has actually come out in support of Israel, and he's all hate Israel now because they're all a bunch of Nazis. I mean, this world's gone crazy. I mean, I can't keep up. And then in Ireland, we got a bunch of commies as well. We got communists everywhere. Communists and fucking, as I said, Nazis walking the street every bleeding Saturday. I mean, it's just gone crazy. Gone crazy. This is what the left done to every single country and society, right? Everything that was bad, right? Every positive step that we were taking in the right direction has been set back at least 20, 30 years by these lunatics. And I won't even get into what they're doing with the whole transgender thing, because that'll get me into trouble on YouTube. But so, you know, bottom line is this, right? The bottom line is this, that we've got to be mindful who's coming in here, and our government is just allowing anybody in here, right? I recently put up a video myself. I sent a video by someone in a chat that I've been out protesting with, and it was a Georgian citizen who was living in the Bahamas, it was, and he was ran out of the Bahamas because, you know, he committed a crime there. But now he's working for a Dublin firm doing security in this country, right? And he's ex-military, by the way. Ex-military, right? Gotta see, this is the thing that people need to open their eyes to. A lot of these men are ex-military that are coming into this country, and the question that you should be all asking yourselves is, why is all of these ex-military guys coming in to Ireland? Why are they coming to this country? I already know what's going to happen. You just have to see what's happening in France. You just have to see what's happening in other countries that are ahead of us. See what happened in America. I mean, that's your future. That's a future. And if you're naive to think that, and this is what I hate about the left in this country, every single one of you lefties out there, let me just say this. You guys must think every single one of these guys have people that are coming into this country have halos over their heads, right? Because we could see what's happening in other countries, but yous are in denial about crime in relation to migrants, and it is on the rise. By the way, a recent report came out. Garda stations all over the place have reported an increase in crime, right? And what's the common denominator, do you think, folks? Obviously, they didn't mention what the common denominator is, but what is the common denominator? Why has all of a sudden crime just burst open in this country? Can you all guess? Because I remember the Irish all being savages back in the day. Now, we all know, right? Seen newspaper reports that Gardaí are monitoring a Ukrainian gang. Gardaí are monitoring ISIS. Gardaí are monitoring Hamas in Dublin. I'm like, why is monitoring them for? Like we're stupid in this country, right? Other countries, like, would if they heard that there was a terrorist cell working in their country, they'd like sort it out. But in Ireland, no, we'll just monitor them. We'll just monitor them. It's grand. They're all right. They're not going to do anything. They're all right. Get the fucking vote, will you? People are stupid in this country. I swear to good God. And I'll tell you, if you all the general election, or not the general election, the local and European elections are tomorrow. I'm telling you now, right? If these main parties don't lose big, right? I'm telling you, there's no saving this country. There's no saving this country, because if they manage to retain most of their seats, I'll be pissed, because then what are we fighting for? If the people are just going to go and vote these gobshites anyway. But remember, Irish people have a habit of doing that anyway, right? How many times have Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael screwed us over? Sinn Féin are right about one thing, right? Just one thing, is that we've had the same old, and they've let us down every time, right? It's the only thing I agree with Sinn Féin on. The rest, they can go, they're traitors, right? But that's the one thing they are right about. But that's the thing, that's what my biggest fear is that tomorrow, that's exactly what's going to happen. Because Irish people don't ever seem to learn their lesson. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have had enough chances, in my opinion, to get it right in this country and to show the people of Ireland that they care, right? And government after government have failed us. This is not just about one government. This is about the whole establishment, right? They have let us down time and time again, right? So, they sold us out to the bankers. That wasn't enough, because you got rid of the party that sold us out to the bank, but you put the fellas in that got us there in the first place. Do you know what I mean? So where is the line going to be drawn with Irish people now? Is this it? Am I actually finally going to see Irish people tomorrow finally show Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, and the Greens and Labour, because they've been in government in the past as well, remember, with different coalitions? Are the Irish people finally going to show and teach these parties a lesson? And tomorrow we will find out. Tomorrow we will find out. For me, it has to be an ultimate embarrassment for the government parties tomorrow. So they have to lose big. They lose big. If they only lose a few seats, I'm going to be pissed. Because what's the point of doing all the things you're going to do if the people are just going to vote the same old in again? So let's hope Irish people have learned that lesson, right? Because I tell you now, if you don't, in 10 years' time, and that's the time frame I give it, if the level of migration that's coming into and by the way, it increases every day, but from 10 years now, if we have the same level coming into this country, you'll be replaced. 10 years, that's all it's good. It could be even less, but that's how long it'll take, right? So you have a big decision to make tomorrow. A big decision. It's the biggest, listen, I'm not over exaggerating when I say this. This is the biggest vote of your lifetime. It's the biggest vote of your lifetime, right? And that's how serious you've got to take this. So if there are people out there that think, I'm not going to vote, it's the biggest vote of your lifetime. Do not waste it. You waste it, that's it. You've only got one chance here, right? One chance. And that's it. It's game over. You just have to wait then till the next cycle of elections come around. But by the time that comes around, then it'll be worse off and it'll probably be already too late. So this is the biggest vote of your lifetime tomorrow when you go to vote. And if you are not voting, go out there and vote. You have to vote. They call you racist, stop calling. I don't care. Anybody can call me around. Listen, I've been called worse. I've had death threats and all. So look, none of that phases me. Do you know what I mean? Who is your favourite candidate and why? Well, he's not in my area, but my favourite candidate has to be Fergus Power. Fergus Power was the one actually that inspired me to get out there and start protesting. So for me, it would be Fergus Power. The reason why I say that, actually, I didn't really want to be endorsing anybody today because I don't think it's fair on the other candidates. But I suppose it's how I feel, so I might as well just be truthful about it. But look, I've seen this lad. I've seen this lad up close in action. And what I mean by that is, I've been at protests where he's been. He's been in Newtownmountkennedy. I was there with him in Newtownmountkennedy, and then he went back down to Newtownmountkennedy. He's been all over the country supporting communities out there, not just his own. So, you know, he's been around all over this country. He's been on the ground from day one. He didn't want to run originally, and, you know, he decided that to put his hat in the ring because he had enough. And, you know, to be honest, any nationalist that's running, that's never ran before, and this is their first time, every single one of them, and I'll say this, I can actually say this, every single one of them are brave, and it does take a lot of courage for what they've done, right? So I don't think that should be ever belittled, because what these people are doing, they're coming out of their comfort zone to do something because they truly believe in it. And this is why I like Fergus so much. Listen, Fergus, not only do I meet Fergus in protests, I talk to Fergus a lot, right? That's the thing. The man is not one of these, you know, you see him at protests and he doesn't want to know you sort of thing. He's not like that, right? He'll embrace you, he'll hug you, he'll say hello to you, have a conversation with you. He's a good man. And him out of that, he's the candidate for me, even though he's not running in my area. And if I could vote for him, that's who I'd be giving me number one vote to. I'd give him me number one preference. He'd get number one. But he's not in my area, unfortunately, and I can't vote for him, which is actually, you know, I wish I was, because I would vote for him. He'd get my vote. So because I see what he's done out there, you know, and, you know, he's done a lot for this movement, and if anybody deserves their seat tomorrow at local level, it's him. So that's my favourite candidate, Fergus Power. And if you're in his area, folks, give him your number one vote. Be under no illusion, this election is rigged. National counters, luckily, if they get... Listen, right. Let's talk about that, James. Nice little segue. Well done. Because that is something I want to talk about. Because here's the thing. James has just said it there. Be under no illusion, this election is rigged. Well, unfortunately, it is. And let me tell you why. So I put up a screenshot last night for you, and I put it in the community post of a map of Ireland and all the iPass centres that are in Ireland, right? But it's been recently revealed as well, I threw it up for you as well, that a lot of the people that have registered, the foreign nationals that have registered to vote in this general election, have come from iPass centres. Now, you've all seen Olivia Hedden, wherever her name is, the one that's been on the Grand Canal. She was taking down names and she was taking phone numbers, and people were asking what was going on. Well, I deduce and I say that she was actually taking the names and the phone numbers of these guys so she could get them registered to vote. And that's what's happening. A lot of these so-called volunteers that are not volunteers but are actually NGOs are going around these iPass centres, and they're going around where all of these people are, and they're trying to get them to register to vote, right? We've also seen on different platforms, Ukrainians, Polish people helping those people to register to vote. So be under no illusion anyway, this election is rigged anyway, because no foreign nationals should be running in Irish elections, local, national, or European, right? Bottom line, right? And I won't deviate from that, right? I don't give a shit if past leaders like Eamon de Valera, who wasn't Irish, right? That was back then, right? I want an Irish person representing me because they're Irish and they understand me, right? And they understand my concerns. So that's what's been happening. And by the way, one of the candidates that's actually running was on. Do you remember? Do you know that? You know that show on TG Qatar, Hector? You know Hector, he used to go around and do his show when Hector used to be good, before he became woke. Well, he had this show called Grey Foreign People or something who have made Ireland their home, right? And one of the people that he interviewed on that show, and this show, remember, was a couple of years ago, is now running for Fianna Fáil. Here's another thing. When you see these people turning up on TV, being interviewed and stuff like that, that's the person to keep an eye on, right? Leo Varadkar, before he became Taoiseach and all of this, you know, Young Labour, he was young Fine Gael he was with, but he was always in the studio audience with RTE. See, this is what RTE do as well. They bring the future leaders on and all, or the people that they're trying to push and get them to talk on their shows and all of this, right? So it's quite clear that this election is going to be rigged anyway, right? And here's the thing you need to all ask yourselves, right? So Helen McEntee has been giving away Irish passports willy-nilly, as we know, right? And we also have found out that she's actually stopped people from being deported, right? Who do you think those people are going to vote for, right? Or if they don't vote for them, this is why the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and all these other parties have foreign national candidates in their parties. They're thinking, well, if they don't get the vote, they'll get then the people that they have in their party that represent their communities will vote for them. So this election is already rigged, by the way. So that's why this is why I'm saying it's important that everybody gets out there to vote, because these people, trust me, all of these foreign nationals are going to vote tomorrow. Now, Irish people have a habit, you know, some elections that we've had, the numbers have been low, especially it's been a different story when the referendums have come out, stuff like that. But normally general elections, local elections, you know, the numbers have been pretty low. Irish people need to get out there. You need to get out there because we're still the majority in this country, remember that, right, for now. So get out there and vote. That's why I said this is the most important vote in history. I'll just, there's a few of you in the chat, so what I'll do is I'll just go back up to the very start there if I can, and I'm just going to give some of you a name drop. If I do forget some people, obviously let me know when I go through all the names if I've missed you, and I'll give you a name drop. I like to give people an old name drop there. And forgive me beforehand, just in case some of you have names that I find very hard to pronounce, because sometimes me pronunciations, I have a bit of I would say, a speech pediment. Some of the words are very hard for me to pronounce, so I apologise beforehand. But we do have Sean O'Malley in the chat. We got Kieran Patrick, Latita Logan, Trevor O'Driscoll, Tropical Jungle Ireland, Boyce 88 also in the chat there. We got Raw Fund, All Craw. What's that? Oh, sorry, hold on. Raw Fund Raw. Again, I apologize. Daniel was here. Is here also. Boxer of the Week. Fiona is also here as well. Mars Bar 123. I do like a Mars Bar. Prefer Snickers bar now, I've got to be honest. We've got Ilikim, Joseph, Sophia in the chat. I hope I've said that right. I really do apologize. And the local and European elections are tomorrow, and the general election is supposed to be next year. It'll be either June or July next year. Could be earlier. We got Sonia Ruiz in the chat as well. We got Jay Cattle also in the chat. Welcome. Eclipse in the chat. Lady of Era is also in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Paddy McFaw. Got Tony Kelly also in the chat as well. Paul O'Neill is in the chat. Welcome, Paul. Welcome, welcome. We got Fran Breedlove also in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. James is also in the chat there. We've got Patsy in the chat. Welcome, Patsy. Nice to see you. Getting IPA residents to vote is outside interference, but look at the country is so corrupt, Patsy, that this is what happens and nobody bats an eyelid. You know, they talk about the far right in this country being this, that, and the other, and yet they're all a bunch of corrupt little sods on the other side. We've got Audrey in the chat as well. Johnny in the cat. Johnny Catch. I like what you did there. I like what you did there. We got Eileen in the chat as well. Come on, Eileen. Do. Welcome. And there you go. I think me and my 7 kids and parents are all voting nationalists. Well done, Eileen. We got Coupon Tay in the chat. I want to say a big thanks to all you good Dublin people. You've been spectacular. Thank you. We try our best anyway over here. You know, the one thing about it is when the Irish people, you know, we've been called all sorts internationally. People have this stereotype of Irish people being, you know, I seen one today. Someone called someone a wife beater or alcoholic and lazy and all of this. The Irish people are far from lazy. I know that's a stereotype that's out there and it's an unfair one. The Irish people work hard, play hard, and you know, if anybody screws us over, well then we do actually do something about it. That's what I said when I first start joining the protests, and then when I start talking about it, I said it. The rest of the world's going to show. The rest of the world's going to see how us Irish people handle our business, and we're not going to allow our country to go as bad as what we've seen in other countries. And if it hadn't have been for those people in those communities in the early days, we'd be in a worse off position. The only reason why we're not as bad as we are is because Irish people stood up, because we didn't wait until it was too late, like in some other countries. And I won't take digs at you, but your reporters kind of annoy me when they have digs at us. But yeah, in his own country, like has been overrun, like, do you know what I mean? So I say to those journalists out there, you know, before you start having a dig at Ireland and coming out with your nonsense, Ireland has fallen. We have excuse me, we have far from fallen, and that's because people stood up very early in this country. And even I said you were still a bit slow, but that's just me being critical. But and being a bit, you know, yeah, because I'm very militant, to be quite honest with you. You know, you know, if I had my way, the government be getting smashed tomorrow in the polls. I'll get smashed tomorrow in the voting, because you know, it's look, we'll see. There may be a time where I might decide to put my name forward. I'll see how it goes. As I said, I was always going to wait and see what happens in the locals, because you know, I'll be able to sit back now and assess the situation, see how good or bad it is for the nationalist side. Because, you know, I'm not going to spin out in here. That's the one thing that you won't get off me. I'm not going to spin. Listen, I'm not here to blow smoke up nationalist arses or blow smoke up the other side's ass. If I see anything bad on both sides, I'll call it out. That's the bottom line. I'm not here to make fucking friends with anybody. I'm here to make sure that the Irish people are safe. I've made that clear on this channel. That's my top priority. I want to get out there and get the ideas out there, and hopefully it helps people, keeps people safe, you know, keeps us safe, you know. That's what I'm about. That's the bottom line. I cannot, you know, I cannot use, I'm this type of person. Listen, we've seen spin right from both sides. It happens, right? But that's the thing. I'm immune to that, and it has rubbed some nationalists up the wrong way. I won't lie, right? But I don't care. The bottom line is, I'm not going to spin and artifice or anything like that. If I see bullshit, I'll call it out. Whether it's the left, the right, the centre, I'll call it out. The end of the day, my top priority, like a lot of nationalists out there, especially the ones that, you know, aren't running, the ones that are on the ground, you know. I'm not saying the ones that are running not on the ground, but what I'm saying is ones that are constantly out there. Like, you know, for us, you know, the big thing here is protecting their communities and protecting this country. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is, if we feel that anybody is impacted that in a negative way, I don't care whether you're left, right, nationalist, fucking socialist, fucking commie, I'll come after you. I don't give a shit. Anyway, I do normally, we're 58 minutes in, I haven't even shown a video yet. But I do want to bring up Newtownmountkennedy, because I don't want us to forget about Newtownmountkennedy, by the way. You know, there's been a lot of guard. Fatima Gunn from Grip Media questioned the Garda presence, and I'm going to show you a video that she posted up, and I actually do agree with her. There seems to be a lot of trouble at that IPAS centre. I also posted some videos up on the channel. You've seen them anyway. If you most of you have seen them anyway, I'm pretty sure, in the chat, of ambulances and Garda and the public order unit coming out of Newtownmountkennedy. So there does, and apparently as well, there was a big incident where some of them tried to overthrow the security staff, right? So, but listen, I want to make this clear. Newtownmountkennedy is not the only place that this is happening. Newtownmountkennedy just happens to be highlighted because there's people on the ground that are filming all of this. We've seen the recent incident in City West as well, and other places, right? So there's violence going on everywhere. But do you think RT News or Virgin Media News are going to pop that up on the news now at all in the evening for Irish people to see? Absolutely not. You will never get to see any of that, right? But this is what they're keeping from the Irish people. But then you get Helen McAtee, just like Mary Pooh MacDonald just said, the far right's a small minority in the country, blah, 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 and they're dividing people and all this. No. Yous are the guys that are dividing people because you're not listening. We've told you already. These people that you're letting into the country are no good. And show me your doctors and engineers, because I didn't know doctors and engineers use the Royal Canal to have a shit. Let's go around bleeding doing the crap that they're doing to people, right? Don't be giving me that crap. I'm sick of all of this narrative, right? They don't have halos, right? And all you guys now need to explain to us, right, why these creatures are being allowed in, and why you are letting criminals into this country, because that's what you are doing. And we've seen it, and apparently it's a far right narrative, but yeah, time and time again, we show proof, right? But again, RT News will never show you that. So this is a video put up by Fatima Gunning from Grip Media. As you know, I like to give credit where I can, but sometimes I post up so many videos it's hard do it. But the people's videos that I share, want them shared all over the place anyway. So I do that. The Tracy video that I threw up last night, I got her permission to throw that up. Like, so I hope you have watched that, because she's actually gone through. Yeah, actually, while I'm here, because there's 110 people watching right now, there's a video on me channel. Tracy Mahoney breaks up all the candidates for you, right? She shows you what they stand for and all this and all it, and she basically gives you a rundown of all the candidates, all of the parties, right, including nationalists and all, right? She goes through them all to give you the information that you need before you go out to vote. So if you haven't watched that video, I suggest that you do actually go and watch that video. It's very informative, and well done, Tracy. Another cracking video, I have to say. She did one a couple of weeks ago as well, which was absolutely brilliant, on Helen McEntee. So yeah, just, check that out, because it might give you a bit of help on how to vote and all of that. Especially if you don't have a nationalist candidate running in your area like I don't. It's a very informative video and it'll help you out. But anyway, I'm going to throw this video up from Fatima. Now, I hope my audio doesn't go weird, but again, I won't talk while the video is playing, and I'll give my opinion after the fact. So we're running smoothly here, but hold on, I just want to make sure that I'm down on the lower end of the screen when I share this, so, which I will be. So I'll screen share this now. So this is so Fatima wrote this up. The government sure seem to be using a lot of Garda resources at the River Lodge iPass Centre in Newtownmountkennedy. And before I do play this video though, this is why a lot of people like myself are complaining, right? Those Garda resources could be used elsewhere in the country, right? We've seen the rise of crime everywhere. The Gardaí have admitted that crime is on the rise, but yet we're wasting valuable resources in, not just in this is the point I'm trying to make to people, right? Look at all the iPass centres around the country that I showed you. There'll be, I'm not saying every single one of them will have a Garda presence, right? I'm not saying every single one of them will get trouble at every single one of them. That could be the case. It may not be the case. But the bottom line is that a lot of Garda resources are being used at these places because some of them, well, I'll just say it out straight, they're bloody acting like animals, right? And they're attacking staff. Anyway, let's play this video. I'll shut up now. There's the public order unit. So there seems to be a need for a Garda presence there 24/7, it seems. Private security, not Garda. No. I know what the private security guys look like. They're Garda. They're not. Fatima is actually on the ground there. They are the Garda, but I know the security blocks that you're talking about. Now, the security blocks that you're talking about will always have balaclavas on or have their faces covered. They're the ones, and there's actually a special branch of the public order unit now that's been set up. It's called the crowd dispersal unit. I'll put the photographs up. I know the difference. That's the public order unit, and that's Gardaí there actually. The security are actually within the fences because the security in other videos that I've thrown up, actually, you will see they've been popping their heads over and they're wearing balaclavas. The security are actually behind the fences. The Gardaí are outside and the public order unit are outside. So why you need all of that amount for that place just goes to show you the type of people. So when the government tell you that all of these people are harmless and they're poor people coming from war-torn countries and all of this bullshit, no. Most of them are probably criminals that have come from other countries, ripped up their documents and come into this country illegally. And the government is actually, supporting this. That's what they're doing. Right? So this is what we're dealing with. Again, Thornton Hall, there's been activity at Thornton Hall. Residents, locals there have been, doing their very best. I have to say, fair play to them. But again, it's going to be a losing battle because, for the simple fact of the matter is that I actually, I'm going to say this. I'll make a prediction. The elections are tomorrow. Tensions have been rising in Thornton Hall. I should pull up the videos. The public order unit showed up yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised while elections are happening tomorrow that the public order unit and the government try do something tomorrow and maybe put people on that land. But be under no illusion. If they start going into Thornton Hall, it will be the biggest, and I'm not saying this lightly, it will be the absolute biggest camp that we will have in this country. And it's quite scary. So this is what happened in Thornton Hall yesterday. It's actually funny, actually. Do you know that one that runs that Ireland against fascists, the Charlotte O'Sullivan? It's funny because she hasn't blocked me on my other account and I can see her bullshit tweets. She's a mad one, that yoke. Man, she shouldn't be even talking anyway. The things I've heard about her. Not a nice woman. Anyway, this is Thornton Hall. So another foreign reg there, Northern Ireland. So apparently it has no taxing insurance and they're the locals from... And of course, the boys in blue. What do? Nothing. They just sit back and watch it happen. Right. Now, I haven't even gotten into the public order unit and the Gardaí, the way they've behaved, especially since me ban. We already knew that they crossed the line several times, but they went into Ballylough and decided to get heavy-handed there. Some old guy with a walking stick, a disabled guy, was pushed onto the ground. A young girl was arrested. It looked like she may have been assaulted in the back of the Garda van. Also, on top of that, one of the people that I know that has been very present at these protests, he was there with his dogs. He was arrested, and then he came out of the Garda station the next day, and he had bruises on his hands, and he blacked out. Apparently, he was treated very badly by the Gardaí. Be under no illusion, right? I put up a post and someone said old news. I know it's old news, but it might be new news to people out there. Be under no illusion, the Gardaí have been doing recruitment drives all over Europe, and they've also been doing recruitment drives in places like Beckham, Belfast, the UK, everywhere, right? Everywhere. Okay, so they know this is what they do, right? This is what a police force does, because it's happened in other countries. They always bring in people that are not born in the, because they know that Irish people, on a whole, wouldn't probably turn against their own when they're asked to do what they do. It would be very interesting to see how these Gardaí react. But right now, I could tell you, but from what the behaviour I've seen from them, they're actually enjoying all of this. It's like as if Gardaí have been, over the decades, they haven't had, let's be honest, they haven't had much to deal with except mostly the gangland stuff that goes on, really, right? But it's like as if half of these have been itching for a bit of violence and all of this, because they've been going around, happy with their batons and their pepper spray, trigger happy with their pepper spray. So, it's madness. The Gardaí are a registered company in the UK. It is a business that the one goal is to protect the big business, not people. Can you see the way they're forcing these males into our communities? Wake up. I don't need to wake up. I already know. But what I'm trying to say to other people out there is that Gardaí have been doing this for decades anyway. They've been doing recruitment drives and other people. This is where the concept of community policing comes into the thing. Well, you have it in every country. We even have our community Garda here, right? But they're foreign nationals, right? I know exactly what they're doing. Nobody, you know what I mean? Listen, the left are thick. Don't assume people on this channel are, because we're not. We're way ahead of the game. But there are a lot of people out there, unfortunately, Paul, that, don't have a fucking clue what's going on. So we try to wake them up a bit. But of course, Charlotte O'Sullivan, in response to that video, called everybody bigots. I mean, you're calling them bigots, yet you're watching your country being planted right in front of your face, and your response is to call people bigots. I mean, I've never came across such an idiot in all my life, but there you go. What can you say? Here's another video at Thornton Hall here. Again, it's actually a horror video, but I'm going to post it because it'll annoy her. Well, it's probably not her video. She probably stole it off someone else. But, that's typical. They steal other people's ideologies as well. See, the left haven't got their own ideology. Their ideology is stolen off other people. Little weirdos. And most of these people turn out to be, what? Have to be careful because I'm on YouTube as well. Anyway, we won't read what she said. She called them white supremacists, by the way. She has a way with words. It's the same words that, listen, I was called that for not liking the TV show, right? This is the typical lefty response. They like to call everybody a white supremacist. Yeah, but she has a Palestinian flag bio. So to me, what that represents today is, well, when I see someone with a Palestinian flag and I see the way Jews are being treated by people that support Palestinians, well, it reminds me of the 1930s. And that's where what I see you people. I see you people emulating a certain people back in the 1930s. So good luck with that. That's what I see. That's so. Before you start calling us fascists and bigots and white supremacists, maybe take a look at yourself and the ideology that you're following, because it's clear that you are copying a certain mad Austrian out there. Anyway, let's get into this. Oh,
the success of your people is that we come together under one banner. We're going to take that banner, the National banner. Ireland belongs to your people. All politics, social, economic, culture, all those should revolve around protection of our people, the advancement of our people, the security of our people, and most importantly, our children's future. So, you have to ask yourself this crowd. It's not what the National Party do, it's not what us as individuals do, it's what we can do together as elected. Sit down, have a conversation with each other. How are we going to go forward? If we don't stand here and protest 24/7, okay, then let's do that. And we're going to do the actual things that cannot be spoken. By all means, those troops, the lost people, the lost one, different things. The Nationalist Party will be here, will be advocate, will be relevant, and that's all I'm going to say. I wish you the best of luck.
Now, we spoke about going the other way, and I have seen some National Party people come out with some quite, what I would say, out there ideas. Listen, we don't, if we have to go the other way, as it suggest, we will go the other way, right? But we shouldn't go the other way, because that's the way we've done things in the past. And I don't, personally speaking, I don't think another drop of Irish blood should fall, personally, right? Now, we could head the other way, and I'll be ready like everybody else is. But it's like as if people want it to happen now. And I'm like, calm down a bit, take a step back here, right? Let's see what happens in the local and the general election first, assess the situation, and then decide what the plan is moving forward. Okay? The thing about it is this, folks. As far as I'm concerned, too much Irish blood has been spilled. Right? And, you know, if a push comes to shove, the Irish people will do what the Irish people have always done. What's best for the Irish people. And they will stand up and they'll rise, and it goes the other way, blah, blah, blah. But thing about it is, a lot of people, a lot of blood, for what? We're up against a machine. We've been eroding away at that machine now for the last few years, right? We're actually getting somewhere. I just wish that instead of focusing on, well, it may go the other way, let's focus on the unity that you spoke about, that everybody come under one banner. But again, I see there that if that was to happen, unfortunately, who's running the National Party, you know, the other people that come in probably won't want that person as party leader, right? And this is where egos come into it. And this is why it's not going to work that way. It should, realistically, these people should just, like, you know, bottom line is, as I said at the very start of this stream, you know, the bottom line is that your concern is the Irish, the country, and its people, right? So that should be your top priority, right? So that means then you leave ego at the door, you leave your personal issues with whoever you have your personal issues with at the door, and you just try and work together, because the bottom line is working together and coming together is stronger than being an individual, isn't it? It's always better to work as a group rather than an individual, isn't it? So, you know, look, I'm blue in the face saying this, but there was no real plan here, and we're seeing that. So let's assess what happens tomorrow. But as I said to a lot of people out there, this is a big vote tomorrow. This is the vote of your lifetime. So you've got to vote, because the foreign nationals that are in this country are making sure that the foreign nationals are getting registered, right? And the media have already reported it. There's a record number of migrant non-national candidates, and also non-nationals that have registered for these elections, right? Which means they're all registered for the next general election, by the way, folks. So think on that. They're registered for the next general election as well, right? So this is why Irish people more than ever have to get out and vote tomorrow, because as I said, we could be looking at a situation tomorrow where the big parties don't lose as big as we expect them to lose. And that will be because of what these NGOs have been doing for these past couple of years, registering all these people. And that's interference, by the way. I would go as far as to say, listen, if I was the leader of a party, this is what I propose happen to NGOs in this country. As far as I'm concerned, you've interfered in their elections, right? So I would stop funding for those NGOs straight away. If they'd be done, right? They'd be done. Their funding would be completely stopped, right? And they'd be made go out of business. You have no business of interfering in Irish elections, right? That's not what your job is, right? But they see their job as furthering these people over their own, right? So I would stop the funding. I would kick them out of the country. You're gone. No need for you here. Get out. That's it. They've done it in other countries. No one's flower. You're absolutely right. That's what should happen. They should be outlawed. They should be outlawed, right? If an NGO based company comes into this country and doesn't benefit Irish people in any way, then the funding should be stopped, right? You're not here to benefit other people, right? If you want to benefit those people, I suggest you NGOs go over to their countries where the root of the problem is, and go over then and interfere in their elections and interfere in their business and see what fucking happens. Noel, is there a plan B? The government play their dirty tricks and now nationalists get elected just 4 years ago. Paul, I can tell you this, right? I think it's impossible. I think it's absolutely impossible now for our nationalists not to get. I'd be absolutely amazed if no nationalists get a seat. Now, if no nationalists get a seat after all the public support that we've seen in videos and all of these people canvassing and the public support, then yes, listen, the election is already rigged. Be under no illusion, already is. But what I'm saying is you could stop that because we're still the majority in this country. Irish people are still the majority in this country. Remember that. And that's the way you have to be. We're still the majority. So everybody that is registered to vote, fucking vote and make your vote count. But is there a plan B? Well, plan B will be what that guy spoke about, I think. I think that's what these people will push for. Do I believe it's the right solution? Not necessarily. I think there's other ways of going about, but I'm not. Listen, as I said, I'm a small little cog. Nobody listens to me anyway, except you guys. So, you know, I can't really influence that, but I don't see a scenario tomorrow where we don't see some nationalists getting elected. It'd be impossible for them not to be elected now, because you've seen it, right? And I'll tell you why nationalists will get voted tomorrow, right? Now, I don't know how good it will be, but if you look at the marches and the protests that they've had in recent times, just in recent times, the numbers have skyrocketed. If you see the public reaction to politicians out there, and we have seen the videos, of course, they won't show it on RT News, but we've seen it, right? The reaction towards the main parties and all of these other parties, there's a lot of anger. Fergus again, I'm bringing up Fergus again. I'm sorry if people, other nationalists think I'm overplugging them, but Fergus put up a video, sent me a couple of things to put together for a video. While he was canvassing, I put the video up, I think you've all seen it. And he was showing you the households that had their tricolour either out in their garden or in the window. Right, I've got 3 flags up on my big bay window right now. I've got me Dublin flag, I've got me tricolour, and I've got the Irish Republic flag. Right, I've got 3 flags hanging on my window. Right, I've had them up the last two years, by the way. I put them up. I actually put them up 2 years ago, Paddy's Day, and I never took them down. I kept them up. And then obviously this start getting more. So I was, and by the way, I have as well, when you go to protest, they hand you out little flags as well. And I have 2 little tricolours as well. Me Batman is actually holding one of me tricolours there, which is cool. But I've noticed it as well when I've been walking around, that people have their tricolours out. And remember, Irish people normally, remember Italia 90 and all, when the football was on, or Ireland's playing in the rugby, you might see the odd tricolour. But you're seeing them every day now. The people are putting their tricolour out and they're leaving them out. People are proud to be Irish. You know, people are showing that their country and their culture is worth fighting for. And you know what I mean? And I think Irish people, that's what I've loved about this whole thing. If this one situation, if this whole shit show has one positive thing, is the fact that it's reignited the Irish people and their passion and their connection for their culture, and you know, even church, even mass attendances are starting to go back up again. People are starting to go back to mass. There's been a real connection between the country and its people again. And you know what, I got emotional about a couple of months back, but it is emotional because it's been a long time coming. It's the Irish people have rewoken. We've forgotten. And it's the truth, though. It is the truth. Irish people forgotten the sacrifices that people make. Not for people like me and you that are listening, but for the general population. They'd forgotten what it was to be Irish, and you know, the sacrifices that were made by people so we could have a voice in this country, right? And I've seen that being reignited, and the spark is back, and I fucking love it. I love it. I love it now. I love seeing ordinary people out there just, you know, being so knowledgeable about the court and sticking it to these politicians. And the left could say it's abuse and are they attacking? They're not attacking. They're telling these politicians exactly how they feel, and it's about time, because it's been a long time coming in this country, because Irish people have laid over time and time again and taken the lies of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, the Labour Party, the Greens, whoever's been in coalition with them. Right, we've taken their lies decade after decade, right? And for once, the Irish people have reignited and said, you know, enough is a fucking enough. And they showed it during the referendum, and I do believe that they will tomorrow, and some nationalists will get in. I don't think they all will. I think that would be, you know, wishful thinking. But if the majority of them get in, that's a start. But I don't believe it'll be like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't think we will get into a situation where I'll be shocked. And if it happens, by the way, then it's clear what's happened, isn't it? I don't even have to tell you. Nobody has to be Sherlock Holmes to figure this shit out. That's it. We will. I mean, look at the mayor in Derry, Lady of Era. You're right. You're absolutely right. Listen, these are the conversations we need to be having. The left don't like having these conversations because, you know, they're difficult, and, you know, they can't think for themselves. So they all have a hive mind, and they say the same shit. Oh, you're white supremacist, you're racist, you're this, that, and the other. Listen, the Irish people, Cade Míle Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes. That didn't come out of nowhere, right? We've helped a lot of people. Right, even though we've had the history that we've helped a lot of people, and all we're saying is now we can't help people. Right, we've got to look after our own for a change, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. And anybody think that's racist or bigots or white supremacy, I don't give a shit. Looking after your own people is what the Irish government should be doing. That's what they were voted in to do, right? And that's their job. Right, if they can't safeguard this country and safeguard the Irish people and protect the Irish people and do the right thing by the Irish people, well, then they shouldn't be in a job. And you know what? Some of these nationalists haven't got a clue what they're doing, right? But this is the thing. I don't give a shit. I'd rather have them in there, because I know once they get in there, they'll be honest in their work. Right, they'll learn as they go along, but they'll be honest in their work, and they'll do right by us. They'll do right by us. But be under no illusion, and I will say this: if any of these people that do ask for a vote, then do what some politicians have done in other countries, and then all of a sudden do a 180, well, they're going to be called out, right? Because they're not having that bullshit. So be under no illusion, you guys. Whatever you have said, wherever nationalist candidate, what the promises that you've made to people, I'm going to hold you to those promises. Every single one of them. Right? Because the bottom line is, and I'll say this, you have went around now and you have countered every argument from the mainstream party and all of this, and you have called them out for not doing their jobs properly. So once you get in there, you know, as I said, some of you have never been in politics. We will give you time. But the bottom line is, you know, if you don't start doing and delivering on the promises that you said that you were going to deliver on, well, you'll just be called out like the rest of them. At the end of the day, you're in there to do a job. I expect you to go in there and do that job. And I expect you to keep all the promises that you've made. See, this is the thing. Governments in this country, decade after decade, have made promises to the Irish people and have ultimately let down the Irish people time and time again. We are not going to, because I want nationalists to understand this, right? We are not going to tolerate that nonsense no more, right? So we're not going to tolerate it from the main parties and all of these other gobshite parties. Well, we're not going to tolerate it from you guys either. So once you get in there, you have a job to do. You keep those promises. Right? Just deliver on you our promises. You deliver on you our promises. Trust me. Right? This is what will happen. And this is why I want you to deliver on you our promises, and why I'm actually saying this to you. You deliver on these promises. You will encourage other people. You will inspire other people. And then by the time the next election comes along, you'll have more nationalists running for you. Right? So, dude, you have a chance and an opportunity here now. Don't mess it up. Please don't. Because this country cannot take more, the people can't take more broken promises. We can't take more broken promises. Bottom line is, you know, you do your job properly. This country can go places. We're a great country. We're a great people. I honestly believe that. And I honestly believe that we could be one of the leading countries in the world if we just had the right politician in place. They just need to be a spanner in the works of anything. Yeah, exactly, as well. Exactly. I mean, you know, I'm under no illusion, you know, nationalist candidate gets into their local area. Obviously, they're up against other nationalist candidates that might get in from other parties, and they'll be on the board and stuff like that. And they won't always get their way, but they can be that spanner in the works. You're absolutely right. They can actually you know, say, I'm not going to support your policy, blah, 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 and throw that spanner in the works. But that's what they need to do. They need to be a disturbance. Do you know what I mean? But I do believe that that they will. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that the majority of them are going to go back on their word or not. But I'm always wary that there's one or two that have pretending, in my opinion, have pretending to be nationalists because they've seen that this movement's been popular. And I do believe that there will be one or two that'll make a 180. Or I do believe one in particular is gonna announce that they're setting up a party. But I'll say no more for now. But let's just leave it there. But let's move on. So Newtownmountkennedy, we've done Thornton Hall. Just wanted to give updates on that, of course. Also, what have we got? There was something else I wanted to show you. Where is it? Yeah, it's a post from Ben Scanlon from Grip Media. And I want to highlight this because this is actually very interesting. So I didn't put it in the title of the bleeding intro, and I should have. We're going to talk about the hate speech bill for a few minutes because I'll put up an interesting. For some of you, have probably already seen this post anyway. I put it up in video form. And I did ask people what they thought. So I'm gonna whack it up again, or I'll read it out. And it's from Ben. I won't put it up on screen just in case it starts glitching again because it's starting to get glitchy. But I'll read out what he wrote, and I want just wait until I finish reading it, guys, and then I'll get back in here then, and I'll get you their opinion on it because I want to get you their opinion on this because it's very interesting if true. Now, I'm not saying Ben is lying. I'm saying that the candidates and their supporters could be lying to Ben. So I want to make that clear. I'm not saying Ben is lying here. I think it's actually feed of the candidates. But anyway, I'll read this out. Let me know what you guys actually think of this. Very interesting, actually. So he put this up, it was about 17 hours ago anyway. So he wrote this. So, no, it's not that post. Sorry, wrong post. Hold on. It's up here. There it is. Here it is. Right, so he put this up. No, wrong post again. Jesus Christ, I do share a lot of his stuff. It's up here somewhere. Where actually, I should have probably go into his account. Where is it? Hold on, I'm gonna go into his account, unless he's taken down the bleeding tweet, which I doubt he does. But let's see. Where is it? Right, so here it is. Yeah. It was 20 hours ago. So here we go. So I just had a Fine Gael local election candidate come to my door asking for my vote. I voiced a variety of grievances I have as a voter, including the hate speech bill in particular. They said, to be honest, the hate speech bill is going nowhere. That's mainly a Green Party policy anyway. I pointed out that we have a Fine Gael Justice Minister and that the legislation was initiated by Fine Gael government in 2019, before the Greens were even in the picture. The candidate said, well, it's very low down on our list of priorities now. It's not something we are focused on as a party. One of the canvassing team also said the party had learned their lesson from the referendum, saying it was absolutely mad political stunt. It was obviously going to end in disaster. I mean, who honestly thought it was a good idea? Interesting considering I never brought up the referendum, says Ben. Now, we did follow it up with another post, because then another canvasser knocked at his door, and he wrote this. Yet another Fine Gael local election candidate came to my door. I have two running in my area. This was the second one in the same day. I gave him the same spiel that I gave his colleague earlier. I basically said that while nobody wants to live in a hateful society where people are saying nasty things to each other, it's not the job of any state or government to regulate rudeness or hurt feelings. And I said that, in my opinion, as a voter, any attempt to do so would be unacceptable encroachment on freedom of speech. He said, well, look, I obviously believe in freedom of speech. I absolutely agree. But when we have the rise of far right, it does show there needs to be a change in legislation here. I pointed out that his own party's justice minister couldn't define what far right actually means when asked. And I said that incitement to violence is already a crime right now, which he agreed with. He then said, look, to be honest, I haven't thought about the issue that deeply. I'd have to think about it more. But if I can't get your number one, maybe consider me for a transfer. So basically what he's saying there is that two Fine Gael candidates have come to his door and basically told him that the hate speech bill is basically low priority for Fine Gael. The other fella did mention the far right, and then he says, well, we already have legislation for all of that crap, and he agreed. So basically what I'm going to ask you guys in the chat is, do you actually believe these Fine Gael candidates, or do you believe it's another stunt because there is an election coming up and they're just saying these things? Or do you think that this hate speech bill is still going to be pushed through? Now, remember when Simon Harris was officially announced as the supreme leader of the Republic of Ireland, he did come out and actually say that the hate speech bill would still be going ahead. Now, since then, he actually hasn't said much, and neither has Helen McEntee. But to me, I'm always suspicious of, listen, I'm old and bold enough, right? I've seen the tactics that these two parties have used over the decades, and the manipulation and the promises before an election and then not actually delivering, So I do believe that the hate speech bill is still in the pipeline, or they're still going to push it through. I want to ask you guys what you actually think. Do you think that this is total bullshit from Fine Gael, or do you think they're going to push this hate speech bill through. But I suppose though, you know, we've seen this. Finola is right. We've seen this kind of stunt before, you know, and I don't quite believe them, to be honest with you. You know, the bottom line is, you know, if the hate speech bill is low priority or you are not going to bother with it, why not just come out and actually say it? Because, you know, I still don't think it would actually help you get votes anyway, because I think people will see through that rules. But if you swear actually there was an iota truth to it, why not just come out and actually say we're getting rid of it? It was a bad idea. We're sorry you're bad. Do you know what I mean? We've got Sweet Eternal Reader in the chat as well, and we've got Jerry in the chat. But if there's any new people in the chat, I will try to give you a bit of a shout out there. We've also got a YouTube user, no name. Welcome as well. Please research your independents. Some of them are equally bad and traitors. Yeah, that's what I said. There's independents running here, but the problem is they're not. They this far right narrative, and they're all for open borders and all of this. So they're no different. You're right. So that's why I said Tracy has done a video that she threw up on her X account. Now, I did ask her if I could throw it up on my YouTube channel, and I think she has a YouTube channel as well, Tracy O'Matney. And I've put up her video, and she breaks down all the candidates, all of them, all the parties, every single candidate. She does a video. Check it out. It informs you who to vote for. Well, it's there for you guys then to help you then on who you are gonna vote for. She makes it very clear in the video at the very start that she's not endorsing anybody, which she's not. She just wanted to do this video to show you what these people stand for, what they voted for, and all of this, and it's there to help you guys for tomorrow, basically. So go and check that out. Go and check that out if you want to be informed on who's running tomorrow. We got Kieran in the chat as well. Welcome, Kieran. Nice to see you. So Ben wrote that up. So I found that very interesting, but I think that's another Fine Gael rules, because, you know, they always make these little promises, don't they, before the Helen McEntee as well came out as well, saying that the carriers were going to be fined or something if they didn't, you know, stop these people. But you're the one that's allowing them in, not, you know what I mean? Because your policy. So, you know, unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, that video is 14 minutes long. So if you just want to go and check it out, please do. As I said, very interesting what's happening. And just to give you an idea on what I was saying about this whole thing with the registration, have a look at this. Now, almost 600 Ukrainians have been added to the voting registration in Killarney, County Kerry last week. This is election interference at list. How many people living here reportedly through emergency accommodation able to vote? They have absolutely no connection to Ireland. They are not and never will put Ireland or the Irish first. Don't get angry. Don't get apathetic. Be proactive and get out there and vote Nationalist on Friday. And this is the thing. right? We were told that the Ukrainians were only over here because their country was at war, but they would be going home eventually. But that doesn't mean that while they're over here to get to influence our elections, that shouldn't be allowed. I mean, that's common sense. They're going to go back home. And by the way, may I also point out that a lot of these people went home for Christmas, or they went home because their health service apparently is better than ours. So, I mean, you know, this is the farce of this whole situation, right? That's 600 in Kerry, by the way. That's just Kerry on its own, right? So how many more of them have been registered all over the country? Right? And this is what we're talking about. So do you know what I mean? See, this is when people read stuff like this, right? So say 600 in County Kerry, right? But then people say, oh, well, that's only 600. They don't think about, well, what's happening in other counties then? If it's happening in Kerry, it's happening in other counties as well. Madness. And by the way, I want to just point out that that's just Ukrainians. What about all the other nationalities? Right? So this is the thing, guys. This is why it's important that tomorrow you vote. Especially, listen, you cannot complain as an Irish person, right? If it doesn't go well tomorrow, if you haven't went out and voted, right? Or you didn't bother to register to vote. You have no complaints to make tomorrow. It's as simple as that, right? Everybody's had plenty of opportunity to register to vote, right? Long time, plenty of time to register to vote. Now it's time to do your bit and get out there. More than ever, Irish people have to get up off their arses and vote. And I know voting's a pain in the arse. We all don't like vote. Nobody likes vote. We all hate it. It's an inconvenience, but that's what we do in a democratic society, apparently. We vote. But Irish people over the years haven't bothered. But it's important now. Remember, when the left wants something pushed, you know, to get out and vote, the difference was this time is that the Nationalists made sure that everybody got registered and voted this time round, right? So if there's still people out there that didn't register, I say shame on you. I say shame on you. If you're an Irish person and you didn't register to vote, shame on you. You know what I mean? So tomorrow you can't complain. If you're one of these people that complain about the state of the country and haven't bothered to vote, well then as far as I'm concerned, I've no time for you. I've no time for you. Don't talk to me about shit if you don't actually try and make a difference, right? Because I used to have this attitude back in the day that, you know, your vote doesn't really mean that much. It does. It does. And I learned very quickly that it does, right? Your vote means everything, right? And it's a privilege and an honour. That's the way I look at it. It's an honour to vote, right? And when I'm voting to secure the legacy of the people that gave me the freedom to speak to you guys today as an Irish person. Right? So I don't want to hear from people tomorrow that haven't bothered voting. You know, giving out, complaining, you know, get the vote, you know, get out there and vote, right? No excuses now. You want to save your country, right? If you don't want it to go the other way, get out there and vote. Because I'm telling you, all of these people are going to vote. All of these foreign nationals are going to vote. Trust me, they take voting very seriously, especially when they come into a country that they're trying to influence society and all of that. They'll vote. And they'll vote by the bucket load. Well, look at the homeless. There was a video put out recently, Sweet Eternal Reader. A news report. So homelessness has gone up again. You know, it's gone up again, and you know, it's ridiculous the amount of Irish people. Listen, I was in the homeless system. I know how they treat Irish people in the homeless system, and I can tell you now, they treat you like an animal. Right? I'll say it out straight. The Irish authorities in this country treat you like a piece of shit. They look down on you as if you're a piece of shit, right? You should have seen the things I had to do to try get this roof over my head that I have now. But you should have seen the accommodations that they put me in, right? It was either that or out in the streets. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not one of those people that would have been able to survive out in the streets, right? So in places that I was in, I was surrounded by people that came out of prison that committed heinous crimes against children, alcoholics and junkies. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't mind the alcoholics and junkies because, you know, growing up where I grew up, there was plenty of that going around. But I didn't want to be living beside people like that harm children, if you know what I mean, right? In the accommodation that I was in, I came back from my parents one night. I was going back into the accommodation. And by the way, there was no room in my parents' house. My parents would have took me in, but there was like, me two brothers were there, my sisters were there. One of my sisters had a kid and all of that, those babies and all. There was no room, so I'd lost my apartment and all of that, and I ended up in the homeless system, right? Anyway, I came home one night and there was a fella sitting outside. Freezing cold it was. I don't know if you remember, but it was the time when Ireland it was a good few years back where Dublin was -7. It was like as cold as fucking Russia or something. We were colder than some places in Russia at the time, right? It was really cold. And there's some old man outside. He's sitting on the chair. Because you weren't allowed to smoke in the rooms or anything like that, right? So he was having a smoke and he was minding his own business. He was being a bit loud, right? But I just walked past him, signed in, because you have to sign in. It's like a prison. You have to sign in. Signed in, went up to my room, got warm, had a cup of tea and all of that. About an hour later, I decided to go downstairs to have a smoke. Went downstairs, walked outside. He was still sitting on the chair, or so I thought. But when I walked over and I got closer to him, he was stiff. He was dead, right? A few weeks later, you think that was bad. A few weeks later, I thought, right, because I got really, that fucking affected me finding your man on the chair dead, right? Because then, obviously, your man that was doing security, you had to call him out. We had to get him down off the chair, put him on the ground, lay him flat. And then he rang the fucking ambulance, and then chest compressions and all of that. So that got to be a little bit. But if you think that's bad, few weeks later, then I'm coming in again as I do, and the security fella always used to, like, you know, as I was going up, here, will you drop this into to such and such in this room? Just tell him there's a bit of post, I haven't seen him. So I took his post, brought it up, knocked at the door. I got no answer. I went down. I said, I don't think he's there. He says, oh, no, he's went up there. I says, I'll check again. Knocked on the door, got no answer. Screamed, still got no answer. Opened the door, and there was your man lying up in his bed, but he was dead. So in the space of a couple of weeks, I'd found two dead bodies, man. Right? 2 dead bodies. I was traumatized. I was. Seriously. He kept me in that shithole for 4 years, right? And by the way, they were going to keep me there longer. It was only then when my health started getting really bad, right? And then my family seeing how bad the health was getting. At me ma, it's always Irish mammies, went into the fucking council and gave them a shitload of stick. And within a few months, I was offered a couple of places, And I won't get into details, but there was one particular block flats where near the Aviva Stadium. I went in there, and because one of the neighbours didn't like the way I looked, because they had a community thing going there, I didn't get that one. So then I was eventually then asked if I wanted to check this apartment out, the one that I'm in now. And I remember walking into it, and I was just like, yeah, just give us the keys. I'm out. I just, at this stage, I was just like, I just need to get out where, because if I stay there, I'm going to end up dead or something. So I got the keys the next day, and I literally moved in here with nothing, no furniture or anything. I moved in here and I slept on the floor until I got everything in. I moved out of that place as quick as fucking possible, right? But I know how they treat Irish people. The amount of paperwork, the amount of hoops that you have to jump through to get a roof over your head, unbelievable. And that's what annoys me, because I know that these people that are coming over here are not doing that. They're not jumping through. None of those Ukrainians had to jump through hoops. They were in a hotel for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then they were handed a modular home. Right? Where was my modular home? Where was my modular home? Where was the modular homes for all of the Irish homeless? And listen, I just want to make something clear here. If you've ever been homeless, right, you do hear people say, oh, well, you should house all the homeless people first. Listen, that's not always going to be possible, because a lot of people that are homeless, unfortunately, they're so used to the streets that, living in their own place is a thing that they don't want. So there are some Irish homeless people that choose to be on the streets, believe it or not. I know that's hard for people to actually comprehend, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, and the reason why I know that, again, because over the 4 years I was there were people that moved into their temporary accommodation, and then, like, within a couple of days they were back out in the street because they preferred to be out in the street, right? But the majority of them don't want to be on the streets, and they're the ones that we should be looking at. And when I talk about the homeless, that's who I'm talking about, by the way. The ones, obviously, that are in hotels, the mothers and fathers and stuff like that, especially the ones Jordan the Boom. I didn't have much sympathy for them. I just got to be out straight. I didn't. I mean, he's all got super mad mortgages. He's all thought the money was going to be flowing in all the time, and he's made stupid decisions, and he's let the banks manipulate you into making stupid decisions. But people that have forcibly had their homes taken off them, even when they've come up with agreements with the banks, that's wrong. And the people that have, lost their homes through fires and stuff like that we've seen, living in hotels, apartment blocks that have been deemed unfit, people are homeless as well, they're in hotels. They're the people that should be housed first, them and the people on the streets, right? Then when you sort all of that out, and then having better facilities on the streets for homeless people, instead of having all of these, NGO soup kitchens, you should have government funded places where these people can go and get a warm meal. And if there is a particular night that they want to have a bed, there's a bed available for them if they want to have a bed. We should have drug treatment centres as well. There's a lot we have to do. Ireland always suffers with drug abuse as well. We've got to get a handle on that as well. And our youth in this country have been so let down. Listen, even when I was growing up, there wasn't much for us to do, but we didn't turn out to be absolute lunatics, I suppose. We did do some stuff. We're not all angels. But, on the whole, we were well adjusted, I like to think, compared to today. But we need to do more for the youth in this country. We need to make them feel like they're a valuable part of our society. And, when they go through their education, then they don't feel like they have to leave Ireland to get a better life. As I've always said, Ireland should be their better life. Living in their own country should be their better life. And the only time an Irish person should be going abroad is when they're going to explore the rest of the world. Do you know what I mean? I know some Irish people will work abroad, and that's fine, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying nobody should go, work abroad. But what I'm saying is, your best life should be in your own country. It should be. The best opportunities that you should have in life should come from your own country. You shouldn't have to go abroad to get those opportunities. And that's what I believe, right? And that's why I believe that a lot of our youth are in the situation that they're in now. They're being told, look, they're not, even though, look, Gen Z is probably the most pampered bleeding generation. Let's be honest, right? They're probably the most pampered generation, but still there's a lot of them out there, to get into these cults and they get into these little groups and these little hashtags because they feel worthless, right? And they have to be part of something to feel like they're special. Whereas we should tell them as an individual, you are special. You can do amazing things. You can achieve what you want to achieve. It takes hard work and it takes a lot of sacrifice, but you'll get there. You'll get there. What's going on? Are we having a little hoolie in the chat? I haven't had to tell people to behave themselves because everybody has. But I'll just say it now, just in case it does. I know nobody's getting out of hand there, but I just want to say, just behave yourselves anyway and respect everybody's opinions, right? The bottom line is, I'm sick and tired of people getting offended by people. Do you know what I mean? So let's try not to do that here. Everybody's opinion is welcome. Even if someone from the left comes in here, let them have their opinion, right? They're entitled to it. They might be wrong. They're entitled to it. I haven't lived in my hometown in 20 years, says Sarah. I had to live abroad for 15 due to the lack of DEI disability. And that's another thing that we failed in this country. Helping people in this country that need it. People with disabilities, people that have, mental health struggles. We're very poor. We've got a very poor record in this country. We do. It's absolutely disgusting. We don't do enough. You're absolutely right, sir. We actually don't do enough, for people with disabilities and there's so much, especially during the pandemic, the mental health crisis. We have, it's, and especially as well, the way we've treated old age pensioners in this country as well. We have a terrible record. We have a terrible record with children, with women in this country, and with the most vulnerable, right? And I'm talking about our own people, right? The most vulnerable of our people. We've let them down. Exactly. I mean, just because someone might be in a wheelchair or whatever, doesn't mean that they're not. I agree with you, Sarah. It's absolutely ridiculous, it is. Everybody can contribute to society in some way. Do you know what I mean? So I agree. It is frustrating. And of course, it's probably more frustrating for yourself because obviously you've experienced what this country is like, But we see now with that poor kid that's waiting for the operation. He has a spina bifida, and he's been waiting for an operation for bloody years now. I mean, again, you know what I mean? It's an absolute joke of a country, the way this government has set it up. This is what I'm saying. We've got to listen. It's not all just about getting rid of this. We've got to change the whole landscape of this country. This country has gone in a direction that I believe that our revolutionaries would be turning in their graves at. They would not like this modern Ireland, I don't think. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be down for a modern Ireland or a progressive Ireland, but certainly not this vision of Ireland that these lefty lunatics have for this country. Again, a lot of our electricians and plumbers move abroad, Sean. That's the see, again, you know, it's we don't do enough to keep our own people in. What happens is we let them down, but then we bring in some from other countries. And that's the thing here. You look at Irish people in the past, migration was never a big issue in this country, right? Irish people were far more concerned about other stuff than migration, right? Because they did say that people that were coming in here, before all of this madness happened, that the majority of foreign nationals that came to this country did come to this country to work, right? Of course, we did have some that did come over here because we had generous benefits as well. That was always happening, but not on the scale that it's happening now. But even back then, Irish people were complaining about that and highlighting that. Even some politicians, Leo Varadkar himself was coming out with all of this nonsense a few years back, but now it's right-wing thing. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I don't believe that this is the vision that Michael Collins would have had for this country. And I mention him because he's the greatest Irish man to ever live, in my opinion. And that guy, 32 years of age, you look at all he achieved in those years of his life. I mean, he is the greatest Irishman. Nobody at his age done what he did. His death, it's like what I say about JFK's assassination. That assassination changed the course of American history and changed the course of the country. And I believe that Eamon de Valera and his crew were responsible for Michael Collins' demise. And I do believe that Michael Collins being taken from us the way he was changed the whole path of this country and changed its destiny. And we've got to get back to that. Right. Well, I think we've all got family, ancestors that have played a part in this country's history. We all go back. All of them. We all go back somehow. So, you know, that's what happened. And then you see what De Valera did. He let the church basically rule the country, church state. And we seen what happened. That wasn't the vision that Collins had for this country. And it's certainly not the vision of today. And I hate the lefties when they bring up his name and they mention that he'd be proud of this country. And this is exactly what he would agree. No, he wouldn't. He absolutely wouldn't. He'd be disgusted at you all. Actually, he would do what he did back in the day, and he'd raise an army against us, and he'd just squash us all. He'd take none of his nonsense. You wouldn't be able to use the victim card with him, or say you are offended. You wouldn't get a chance. You wouldn't get a chance. Before he's even opened his mouth, he'd already be 6 feet under. That's the difference between us and them, right? Michael Collins tried to get the gun and violence out of Irish politics. Remember that. And instead, well, we saw our history. We know what happened. Vanula says, well worth their while to come here and hoover up resources. Look, that's the thing. I mean, the government the government fucking struggles to deliver its promises to the Irish people. So I mean, even the people that are in the tents have already seen that the Irish government have broken their promises to them. And rather than saying, you know what, Feck this, I'm out of here. They've decided to hang around because our benefit system is so great. You know, instead, you know, Helen McEntee does little gestures, you know, comes out, or the government come out and say, oh, the payments for Ukrainians is going to go down now. Okay, that's fair enough, but where about the rest of them? Why don't you actually put them to a level where it won't encourage people to come here? Maybe not have any benefits for any foreign national whatsoever, and the benefits are only there for the Irish people that actually need it. Maybe stop them from coming over. Maybe stop, you know, posting the fact that you have a generous benefit system might help, you know, like Roderick O'Gorman letting everybody know. That's why we have them here. You know, the Minister of Children there, you know, going around eating ice cream like a little weirdo. You know, the kids go missing in state care and he's there licking ice cream, you little weirdo. Yeah, what is that thing? Have you noticed that, by the way? All of these politicians licking their ice cream, right? And someone was saying, what is it all about? And I just wrote up a post, and I think a few people agreed with me. And I'll just say this because it's the way I put it. Well, kids love ice cream. So, you know, put two and two together. I'm on YouTube, so I have to be careful. But put two and two together. What exactly am I trying to say? Exactly. Trying to look innocent. Exactly. Fanula is on the ball there. I love it. I love it. I love when people are on the ball. Exactly, man. Exactly. These are all smart in this chat. See, this is what I love. This is what I love. I love to see it, man. I love to see Irish people on the fucking ball. See, this is why I'm proud. I have a smile on my face now, right? This makes me so proud because I see it. I see it even in the chat. Irish people have woken up. They've soaked all of this in now, and they've been. Well, people say they've been red pilled, but you haven't been red pilled. You've been red pilled by your government for decades, but you know. But now you've all woken up, and it's fucking great to see. I'm buzzing. But make it count tomorrow. Just make it count tomorrow, please. Right? I'm getting out there to vote. Listen, I know that. Do you know what? When I see me voting yoke tomorrow, right, I'm going to be at that voting booth for about 5 or 6 fucking minutes trying to figure out who I'm going to vote for, who I'm going to give me. Because think about it, right? Even though I've no nationalists, right, I've got the main parties and a couple of independents, though. But I can be smart here when I use my vote. Because obviously I'm not going to give the 2 main parties or the Greens or any of those the 1 and 2 preference, right? So maybe I'll give it the 1 and 2 preference to a candidate that I know is not even going to get anywhere. That way, then I'm fucking up the government. See, this is how some people are saying, oh, I'm not going to mark me. Yeah, mark it. That's the whole point. And some people are saying they're only going to do the 2 boxes, the 1 and 2. No, do the whole lot. Do the whole lot. You've got to be smart here when you're voting, right? Got to use your noggin this time. Right, and that's what I'll be doing. I'll be using me noggin. It's just a pity there isn't a nationalist running here because they'd be getting me number 1 vote straight away. Like, and it'd make it easier for me. My son is going up to vote with me. I don't need to tell him either. He knows. That's it. That's the way to do it, Fanula. That's it, man. Get. You know what? People are wising up. You know. Before, where there used to be awkward conversations in family homes because maybe some people were still staunch Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael supporters. I think they've seen over the last year, even some of the hardcore supporters have turned on them. And even we've seen all the people turn on Sinn Féin anyway. That's hilarious. But the reason why I laugh at that is I get it that Sinn Féin are traitors and I get that, but why aren't you all chanting that at Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael as well? Like, you should be chanting at them all, not just Sinn Féin are traitors. Like, they're all traitors. Every single one of them. Right? They're all WEF shills. They all are working for the same person. Remember that. None of them are set. They might come out and give you the illusion that they have different policies and they think differently, but they don't. They're all the same. Don't give the usual any preference. Well, you could do that as well, but you see, Jerry, that's the thing. You've got to be smart and tactical here when you're using your vote. As I said, go and check out Tracy's video that I put up, you know, and she did another video as well on the voting and how you should do it. There are some people out there saying they're only going to mark the 1 and 2, but there's a lot of people out there that know about this stuff, know how the election goes and how the voting system works, and they're saying that you should actually do all of them. But look, it's up to yourselves. I'm not going to tell you how to vote tomorrow. At the end of the day, that's up to yourselves. And if you want to mark the 2 boxes, go ahead. If you're going to do what I'm going to do and do it tactically, vote tactically, then do that if you want to. It's up to yourselves. But just one thing, as I said, just get out there and vote. Okay? That's all I ask. Get out there and vote. We got Jerry in the chat as well. We got David in the chat. Welcome. I closed the door as fast as lightning when Sinn Féin came to my door, opened it. They opened their mouths and like a flash I said no and closed the door rapid. As I said, there's 2 videos up on my channel, Sweet Eternal Reader, that explain the voting process. There's also a short or 2 as well. They are going to have to. I did throw up a video yesterday and another Tracy one, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you'll have to scroll down my videos, but they're there. I've actually put videos up, guys. That's what I've tried to do. I've tried to give you as much information as I can. That's why I asked Tracy if I had her permission to throw the videos up, because I wanted to give you that information. So there's videos there with that information to help you out. And as I said, Tracy is not there to make up your mind or anything. She's just giving you a list of all the candidates and what they stood for and what they voted for and blah, blah, blah. So you can make an informed decision yourself. But get out there if you're Irish, get out there and vote. It's important. Really, really is. This is the most important vote that you're ever going to vote in. And it's time to take a stand and take that chance. Because, you know, this is the closest that I say nationalists have got, and you know, we got to capitalise on it. So we've covered Newtown, we've covered Thornton Hall, haven't we? Yeah, showed you the footage from Fatima there earlier. The tents, yes. So just one more thing, obviously, to bring up. So the tents are still sprouting up all over the place, and barriers are going up all over the place. And this is, guys, our new norm. So again, this is another reason for you to vote, because the government clearly don't have a clear plan on where to put these people, because when they take down tents, the tents go back up. Well, no, they take their tents away. Here's the stupidity of it all. Right. I got right. So they get a tent off a government-funded NGO. Then the government come in then with tractors and their vehicles, right, and take the tents away. And then the NGOs will give them, government-funded NGOs will give them new tents, and then the cycle continues over and over. In the meantime, in every place that they've been, the Irish government solution is to put barriers all over the city. So if you go into some parts of the city, you know, it's got barriers everywhere, right? So that's your new norm. This is what Simon Harris's plan is. If migrants turn up somewhere, it's grand, sure, we'll take away their tents, but we'll give them more tents. Anyway, they'll move somewhere else. We'll put barriers in that place, and then they'll move to the other place, we'll remove them, and so on and so on. By the way, that's taxpayers' money. That's taxpayers' money that are using to do this time and time again. Right? So that's the stupidity of all of this. So get out there and vote tomorrow. I will probably be live tomorrow. Well, more than likely, yeah, actually, I'm not going to say more than likely. I will be live tomorrow because it's the election. I will go live after I cast me vote. and after I have dinner, I'll get me dinner out of the way first. And then we'll come back in the mid-afternoon, because then that's when we should start getting, well, at least, the counting in some areas would already be started from 9 a.m., but in some places they're not starting counting until 2 or something. So we're going to have to wait, but I will be live tomorrow, and we'll see how everybody's feeling. Obviously, there'll be a lot of videos posted up as well, people on the ground, seeing how they voted and all of that. So I'll be throwing them up as well. So keep an eye on that. There'll be plenty to come. But look, again, I just want to thank every single one of you for the support, especially over these last, because we've had 2 bans in a row now, and you have stuck by me. So I just want to thank you all for the support. We're hurtling towards 3,000 subscribers. So I want to thank you all very much for your support, especially those that are living abroad. It's nice to see so many people from the international community support us here in Ireland. It does mean a lot. I just want to, I know it's said a lot online, but maybe not on many streams. So I'll say it. Your support does mean the world to us, and it gives us strength to keep doing what we do. So thank you very much for that. And again, I'll be back with the usual videos. As you see, I post up and I post up so many bleeding videos now. I'm like a train at this stage. But whatever new videos I see and I think they're okay to throw up on YouTube, I'll throw them up and continue to do that. I will be live tomorrow, so come and join me for that general election day, local and European election day. It'll be exciting. Let's hope for a good result tomorrow. I mean, look, we'll see what the turnout is like. If it's a high turnout, right, if it's a high turnout and they break down the numbers of who's actually went out and voted, then we'll have some idea of how this goes. But remember, for just a little bit of encouragement, just in case people are a bit nervous about tomorrow and still think it might go the other way, which would be the wrong way, I just want to remind you of one thing, right? Just to give you a bit of a smile on your faces, but a bit of encouragement that this could go well tomorrow. Just remember the referendum, right? They were odds-on favourite. The yes side were odds-on favourite to win. They had millions and millions of euro pumped into their campaign, and they got beaten by the so-called far right. Okay? So that should give you a bit of encouragement for tomorrow. We've already defeated this machine, this government once before, and we can certainly do it again tomorrow. So one final thing I just want to say to all of the nationalist candidates out there, all of them, right? Doesn't matter who you are, all of them, right? Good luck tomorrow. I wish you the best. Some of you out there, especially Fergus Powers, I said, you deserve that seat. I hope it goes well for you tomorrow, but I hope it goes well for you all. We need nationalists to actually do well. And as Sweet Eternal Reader has been mentioned, there are some independents out there, not nationalists, but independents. He is right. They are right. If it's, I don't know if you're a bloke or a lady, but I'll just say they are right. Some of them say they're independents, but when you read their leaflets and their pamphlets, they come out with the far right narrative and the open borders bullshit. So just be careful if you are voting independent who you actually vote for. But the nationalists, give them your vote. Especially the ones out there. Listen, you guys know the ones out there that have been on the ground and that have done good work out there these past couple of years. You've seen them. You know who they are, right? And we all know who the ones are that are just using this movement and blah, 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 right? I don't need to tell you. You all know who the genuine people are, right? So go out and vote for them tomorrow if you can. And good luck to all of you candidates. I wish you the best. I hope it goes well for you. You know, roll on tomorrow, roll on. Hopefully, a new breath of fresh air in this country. Yeah, Kevin Coyle, who's also running. Eric English. You got Tracy as well. She's running for what's it? The Irish Freedom Party. Isn't that Tracy? You got Derek. Derek Doy, who's been, I've thrown up a couple of his videos as well. Ireland Force, Philip Dwyer. You know the ones that have been on the ground. Guys, you know the ones that have been on the ground, right? They're the ones that should get your vote, right? Because they've been there from day one, right? And they're the ones that, even if you're not sure of a party that they represent, the candidate themselves, you know, right? And that's the way I'm going to put it to you. You know these candidates. You have met some of these candidates, right, at protests and at gatherings, right? You've gotten to know them. You've gotten to see them on social media. You've got to see the videos that they've posted. You know what they're like, okay? So, you know who to vote for. As I said, it doesn't matter who you vote for. People are dropping names. As I said, it doesn't matter who you vote for. You, in your area, you know those people out there that have been doing the groundwork and deserve your vote, right? And they're the people that deserve your vote, right? These Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and Social Democrats, they only come out election time, right? When do you ever see them on the ground any other time? You never do, right? You know the candidates that have been out there, the nationalists that have been out there on the ground. I don't need to tell you who to vote for, right? You know them. So give them your vote if you can give them your vote. And I do wish you the best of luck because you're going to need it. But I do believe in you. I do believe that a lot of you deserve you a seat for the work that you have put in. And I do believe that you have the people and the country's best interests at heart. So tomorrow is a big day and I'll be here to cover it. And hopefully you guys are here with me tomorrow. And hopefully we have some good news and we have a smile on our face. You know, I might have to go live twice tomorrow because we might go live in the mid-afternoon, as I said, as maybe the votes, we see what the polls, how they've been polling and stuff like that. And then the counting then will start later on. And then, you know yourself, interesting time ahead. Anyway, I'll just, let me say, we got Paddy with his tricolour in the chat. Like to see it. The tricolour looks great, doesn't it? I've always loved their flag, though. I've always loved the, even I've always had tricolour on me somewhere. I don't know, always in my family, though. Always. That was the thing. I just grew up with it. You know, the Dubliners were playing every morning. You know, the weekends when I was growing up, my dad be listening to the Dubliners or whoever it was, you know. Luke Kelly. Jesus, the amount of Saturday and Sunday mornings we wake up and Luke Kelly be on. Yeah, listen, they're going to play dirty tricks. They're going to play dirty tricks, mate. Look, that's what we're going to have to deal with. But look, if everybody gets out there and votes, it doesn't matter what dirty tricks they play. Right? That's what I've been saying. Irish people just need to wake up and turn out in huge numbers tomorrow. And it doesn't matter what tricks they use, mate. That's the point I think I've been trying to make the last few minutes. You know, it doesn't matter what they throw at us now. We've had the momentum for a very, very long time, right? And now We use that tomorrow now to send one big message. Listen, we've already sent a message to them through the referendum. This is it now. This is their time now to send this is a big message now to send to this government, right? And I don't think, listen, if it goes badly for them tomorrow and the main parties, we could be looking at a situation where the government starts to destabilise, and then there's infighting. And remember, there's already infighting with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. We actually seen the Fianna Fáil infighting spill out with Micheál Martin, right? So there's already tensions there. So if it goes bad tomorrow for them, trust me, this government is not lasting until next year. There will be a general election this year. So that's why it's important. So think about that when you're casting your vote tomorrow, that you've actually got a chance to take down this Irish government before its term is over. And that's what we need, right? That's what we need. We need to take these guys down a peg or two, destabilise them, and then they call a general election. And then that's when Nationalist then, that's when you use our heads then. That's when you decide, right, we come together. And then under one Nationalist banner, then get candidates running in every single fucking constituency, every single county. You want to change the face of Irish politics, but then you've got to have the ambition to do it. And if you're only in it because, you know, you want to get your feet in the door and you don't really want to do that. And as I said, I'm not for that. You know, if you're in full swing, and that's it, right? Your ultimate aim is not just to get in, but the ultimate aim then is to remove the main parties from power in this country, obviously through the polls, obviously through the votes, the elections. But that's what the goal should be. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. I want to thank you all again for the support and for joining us for this stream. But I've got to head off now. As I said, if any more videos pop up, I'll put them up during the night like I have been doing since I've been back. Don't forget to like, share, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, we're on YouTube. I know we're on X and we're on Facebook at the moment. But if you're watching on those two platforms right now, go and join me on the Irish Zone on YouTube, please, and give us a subscribe. Also, on your device, whatever device you have, computer, laptop, Chromebook, whatever it is, phone, if you watch YouTube on it and the app is there, go into the actual app itself and go into the settings and go down to the notifications and turn them on. Because YouTube, if you press the bell on YouTube, you might get some of the notifications. Whereas if you turn that setting on your actual app, your YouTube app, you will get all of my live streams and all of my videos coming up. YouTube won't be able to disrupt that because they've been trying to take this channel down, folks. Very, very much so been trying to take this channel down. And I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of doing that. So that's why I said I'd do a live stream today. Just keep everything nice and simple. And tomorrow as well, another live stream as well for you on election day. So listen, and they shadow ban Mike. Well, listen, again, just want to talk about comments just before we go. Yeah, YouTube is actually blocking a lot of user comments. And I have to go in and physically approve them all. But there's even some that I approve that they won't. So again, I just want to say to you again, I know it's very hard because I do drop the F-bombs myself and other colourful words. But it seems you can do it on stream, but if you do it in the comments, your comment gets YouTube flag your comment. So as I said, if you could try use alternative words to the colourful words that you use, that's one way of getting around it. But I've even seen people try do that and YouTube is still bleeding blocking their comments. So I'm just trying to help you out because I want to get as many of your comments in the comment section as I can, because I don't want people thinking I'm suppressing anybody, because I don't do that shit here, right? Even haters, I wouldn't get rid of their comments. I don't do that. That's not my game, right? But YouTube and Google do that. So you know, just try. Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Yeah, it's a nice way of putting it. Heck off, you're going to have me in stitches now. Anyway, I'm off. Have a good one, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves and all stay safe out there. And again, to everybody that supports us internationally, we absolutely grateful, and it does honor us, and it gives us a little boost when we need it. So thank you. It means a lot to us, and we'll see you for the next one, folks. Have a good one. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening.